it's actually interesting. It's like, so like, I did some research. Because I was just walking into this, it's like, oh yeah, it's like a whole new thing, like, I read the manga, like, when I was like a kid, like, decades ago now, probably, actually. Which is kind of, like, crazy to think of, but yeah, kinda, yeah. But yeah, I remember, like, read through it at some point. Like, I don't remember much. I don't think I, like, read the full thing. But, like, I do remember having, like, childhood experiences of nostalgia with, like, purely the manga and not the TV show. Because for some reason I avoid the actual anime like the plague.
I'm going into this totally blind.
Yeah. And I think that's, like, an interesting way to, like, like, start this off. Because it's like, you know nothing. And I know, like, enough to vaguely know where things are going, and, like, boy, is this already, like, an insane, weird trip. Because, like, so it turns out, like, so here's the story as I understand it, right? So, like, the manga comes out, like, apparently the guy who worked on the manga used to, like, work on Nintendo comics or something, which is why the art style is so, like, weird and cartoony. But yeah, also I feel like the art style on this show, like, actually does work really well. I should probably actually switch over to... This is probably not good, like, it's just showcase the art style, but screw it, this is what we start off on anyways.
I mean, I was wondering why that 13-year-old kid was a midget.
Yeah. Honestly makes, like, we're basically, like, working on One Piece logic here. Where it's like, oh, some people just look like weird dwarves, even though they're supposed to be, like, perfectly normal high school students. And other people are, like, mounds of muscles with, like, tiny, tiny heads and stuff. Yeah.
Also, the school dress code lets you get away with, wearing your shirt unbuttoned, I guess.
Yeah, the school dress code lets you get away with a lot. It's kind of nuts, actually. But yeah, so he, like, worked on, like, some Nintendo comics or whatever, and he, like, I think he came to Shonen Jump first. Yeah, I went to Jump, and, like, he did Shaman King, and, like, it got cancelled, like, near the end, basically. So, like, the actual, like, original run of the manga is, like, it just goes up to a point, and then it just kind of stops and has, like, an epilogue. So, like, when they did the original anime, they just sort of, like, went for it, and they said to, like, make up an ending, because, like, the actual manga didn't really have one. So, like, since then, it's like, yeah, guy one, he did a bunch of, like, our stuff. Nothing that I think I'm, like, familiar with or anything. But yeah, eventually did, like, come back to Shaman King at some point. And he was like, oh yeah, I should, like, finish the biggest story I've actually made. Right, yeah, he actually did Ultimo too, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's a thing. So, I assume you probably aren't familiar with Ultimo.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Ultimo's, like, a weird project, whereas, like, like, the guy behind Shaman King was doing, like, a manga collaboration with the Stan Lee. And he ended up making, like, a series about, like, robot kids that represented the 7 deadly sins, like, fighting the good robot kid or something. And they could, like, turn their arms into, like, animals or crap.
What?
Yeah, it's a really weird one.
Sounds dumb as heck.
Yeah. Oh, it was stupid. It didn't last long. But it's some cool visuals, if nothing else. But yeah, like, the mangaka eventually did, like, come back to Shaman King. And, like, he basically did a big redraw where, like, he basically, like, redid specific panels and stuff. And, like, basically just continued on where he left off. And he basically gave it, like, a proper, like, final arc and ending and stuff. So, like, since that's like there's been this weird resurgence in popularity where like he's just kind of went back to doing Shaman King and he just made a bunch of like spin-offs and like he made like a sequel series and the manga that like the actual magazine the sequel series was in like died. It's a different magazine and just all kinds of nice stuff like that. And like that was all around like 2012 to like 2018-ish and it's like still ongoing.
Mm.
So yeah, like what we essentially have right here is like the 2021 anime, which is basically Shaman King Brotherhood.
Or it's more accurate to the manga and probably will have a proper ending.
Yeah. Like from our stand, it's gonna be like 52 episodes, and like Netflix is going to get to the proper ending. And like if it does well, maybe we'll get some like like specials or whatever for the like other like spin-offs or whatever he's done. So like I guess in that like perspective, this actually does make like a ton of like really logical business sense. Cause it's like, if it's a flop, then at least they've like, tried and they've like done the thing. And if it's like a big hit, then they have like more material to actually like adapt and like draw from. So that's also gonna be like, a big win, I guess. Either way, like, interesting like story, I guess, to all of this.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I just wish Netflix was airing it subbed instead of waiting for the whole thing to get dubbed to air it.
Yeah.
Because where we're watching it, the subs are really, really jank.
Yeah, Netflix jail is not great. Like there's a reason people refer to it as Netflix jail specifically.
Mm.
Because it's like, for people who might not know, it's like whatever Netflix license an anime, like it comes out like week by week in Japan as normal. And for us, we just have to like, wait until the full series is done and gets dubbed before we can even like, like watch a bit of it. And then it just comes out all at once basically after like all the hype is dead and it kind of sucks.
Which is dumb because I know I've seen, not watched like a full series or anything, but I know that there's subbed anime on Netflix.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like they have subtitled options, like straight up. Like I guess the logic is purely that it's like, like if someone chooses to check out an anime, they don't want to like alienate them with the subtitles. So they're just like, oh, we'll just do the entire process and then you get to see it or something. Which is
Yeah, but in that process, to alienate everybody who actually wants to watch the series and is already a fan,
yeah. Man,
but they bought the rights to it, so the fans, the people who are already fans, have to either wait for it to come out dubbed or steal it.
yeah.
It's what
Beastars Season 2 is just like coming out right now. Yeah, and boy do I want to watch that show, but boy am I not gonna be able to watch it on Netflix, cause like I'm going to get the crap spoiled out of me by the time that actually shows up there.
steal it.
Yeah, like it's like for someone like me who's actually like following the anime communities to some extent and like like talking to people about things and stuff, this like pirating might actually be the only way to experience these shows unspoiled, which
Yeah,
is insane.
I mean, I didn't get to Beastars or I watched BNA.
Yeah,
I didn't get to those until they had fully been uploaded to Netflix, and I didn't get spoiled on anything.
yeah. Thankfully, like thankfully I hadn't been spoiled on like anything in Beastars 2 yet, but like boy is that a real possibility right now. Because, like, I've seen some clips on YouTube, and I've seen titles, and I don't want to click on them, but, like, I've seen hints that things are happening. So now I'm like, oh, I think this is going to actually happen here? Okay. I guess I'll just try to not think about it.
Did you hear anything about the I think the manga run of Beastars actually ended, right?
Yeah, yes.
Did you hear anything about that?
I heard a lot about that, actually.
So you've
Like,
heard that supposedly it's not good.
yeah. Like, I heard a lot of weird stuff, and I, like, rewatched the first season, and I was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense with this in context. So,
I don't I don't know
I don't
anything
know.
specific about how it ends. I just know that people aren't happy or weren't happy.
Yeah, like, a lot of, like, weirdness going on with that. Like, one of the weird things I heard is that, like, Lugosi gets, like, a wolf stand. And I just went back to watch the first episode, and it's like, oh yeah, he does kind of show that, doesn't he? It's like a
No,
weird personification of his, like, wolf instincts or whatever.
it's just his instincts. There was no indication it was supernatural.
I don't even know if it actually is supernatural or not. I've just heard the term wolf stand be thrown around.
I stupid. Like the series doesn't need to go supernatural. It's got animal people already, and then like pandas with guns or crossbows, I guess, depending on
Yeah.
the version.
Pandas with bamboo crossbows.
It's like the strongest thing. It's like herbivores. Like, oh, I can't not as strong as a predator, a predator or whatever. But you know, the great equalizer, my gun.
Man, so the biggest takeaway from this Shaman King podcast so far is go watch Beastars. It has
Yeah,
no supernatural elements.
it shouldn't. It works perfectly fine without supernatural elements.
Oh man. But yeah, I guess to get us back on track a little. I so in preparation for this, like, I read through the manga up to like the episode we like finish on, right?
Mhm.
So it's like that actually gives me a weird insight because it's like, oh yeah, I just want to see how they handle da 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 and if da 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 da, and it's like, oh, they cut out like a good bit and they added some really weird crap in. So yeah, like episode 1 of Shaman King just sort of starts off with something that
Well,
I have to assume is from way later on in the manga.
I mean, it's obvious what it is. The mother's having twins, and one has a bad demon, and the other one doesn't.
Yeah. Like, one has an effing, like, evil fire demon just, like, bonded to him. And they're like, okay, as soon as this kid's born, let's just murder the baby with our ghosts. And, like,
Gotta, yeah, he's having a dilemma because it's like, okay, well, what if there's twins and one of them is possessed and the other isn't? Then he's like, well, we'll have to kill them both, I guess.
yeah. And the first one that comes out is super evil. And he's like, it's like a newborn baby with this ghost that's, like, carrying her around and, like, killing dudes.
It's got big goofy eyes and a big bulbous head because it's also a baby.
Yeah, and it's like ranting about like, oh, I'll absorb my other half later, and I'll make sure that you all pay for your insolence and stuff, and it just teleports away. And they're like, well, I guess we know what the other twin is.
Yeah, well, it's obvious. It's obvious that this isn't the final design because in the intro you see it
Yeah, oh
grown
yeah.
up, and you see Yo's brother, I guess.
Yeah. So I'll just say straight up, like, yeah, they're the twins.
I mean,
Because,
duh.
yeah, it's kind of obvious.
We're starting with the scene where characters are being born and it's not the protagonist. What? It's like, no, it's stupid.
Nah.
Of course it's Yo and whatever his brother's name is.
Yeah. But this puts the star of the series in such a weird place, cause like, of course the manga just starts up and it's like, oh yeah, Yo's just chilling in a graveyard and he's like, oh, I'm a shaman, I can like, get like possessed by ghosts and stuff,
Yeah, check
like,
out these ghosts. Pretty cool.
yeah. Like they're very clearly harkening back to like, like African folklore, I wanna say. Like,
Hey,
yeah, because they have like the textbook where like they're reading up on like what a shaman is, and it's like showing
oh,
an
that
African
part.
guy with like a shield and stuff.
Oh, that was later. I thought you was talking about like the scene in the graveyard. I was like, what?
Nah,
There, he's just
because
hanging out
like,
in the graveyard. He's just hanging out with some ghosts that can't pass on, and he's just like, yeah, they can't leave, so I just hang out with them.
yeah. But yeah, because like it's supposed to be like, oh, it just starts off and it's like, oh yeah, this is what a shaman is, and Yo's one of these guys, so he can do the thing. It's like, okay. And you have this scene in the intro, it's like, oh, there's like, like fox spirits being thrown at this flying like fire demon monster that's like, like carrying the infant it was born bonded to. It's like, I will destroy the world, and it teleports off. And it's like, oh, that's a bit of like, that's a bit of a jump up.
I mean, it's a shonen anime. Of course, it goes nutty.
Oh yeah, boy does it.
And former enemies become allies.
Yeah. Oh boy, do they.
Mr. Giant Pompadour Man and evil Chinese ghost stand boy.
Yeah. Man, so I assume you like got a very good look at the super spoiler intro then.
I didn't look at it too hard. I was just like, oh, there's a black haired kid. Oh, that kid looks like him. And then the Pompadour guy is like you can't mistake him for anyone else
Oh yeah.
at a glance.
Yeah.
Also, this 13-year-old kid is tiny. I can't emphasize that enough. He looks like he's a grade school.
Effing Manta, right?
Yeah, Manta.
Yeah, so yeah, that's him with the image right now with like the light hair, and he's just like he like
I see ghosts.
yeah, he can see ghosts, and also like he straight up looks like an elementary school kid. Like I can't think of a better way to phrase it. He looks way too young.
Well, he's going to cram school and stuff. Maybe he's super smart and because they said he's 13.
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
know.
like the weird art style. You have your like little like short, big-headed comic relief character who makes all the goofy faces and does like 8 reactions a second.
There's kind of a weird look to him that I like when they do it. It's like the character has big eyes, but then they have like tiny pupils. Like I don't know. It's just it's a little unique. I don't know. It's
Yeah, he just has the big like reaction where he does the big like O face and has a big like donut mouth where his jaw's just like coming off.
Yeah, characters do like big goofy expressions, but this kid seems to have been built for that specifically.
Oh yeah.
And if he doesn't turn out to have powers later, then I understand. Like he's just there to react to the crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, gotta have one of those.
He can see the powers, he can see the ghosts and the powers and everything, but he doesn't seem to have any himself other than being able to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, he just goes to school and has to cut through the graveyard, and he's like, oh my god, Yo's just here hanging out with like 30 ghosts. And Yo's just like, oh yeah, I'm like training to be a shaman, don't tell anyone. So he immediately goes to school and tries to tell like everyone.
And then it turns out that he's a new transfer student. Nobody believes him when he tells them that he's a shaman and he can see ghosts.
Yeah. Manta's the transfer student, right?
No, Yo is.
Right, yeah, because I remember it's like, Yo just
Get his
shows
dad
up,
together.
and Monta's like, hey, this is the guy who was with the ghosts, and Yo's like, oh, what ghosts? Ghosts don't exist.
Yeah. Also, I'm never gonna get used to Yo's voice. He looks like he should have like the way he looks. I imagine him with a deeper voice.
Yeah.
Like and I know it's like I know people looking at this image. Oh my god, he's so small.
He's so small.
People looking at this image. Yo's the black-haired kid, or brown
Yeah.
hair. I'm not sure entirely. Uh, and you're probably thinking, this kid with a deep voice. He sounds like a girl.
Yeah.
And it's probably because he's voiced by a girl. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Like his voice is higher pitched than I would have imagined it.
Man. I like that Yo's just chill as fuck.
Hey, you don't give a crap.
Yeah. It's like he just spaces out. He's just, just staring at the sky all day. Mont is just like, oh, hey, aren't you mad that I, like, stalked you to see what your dealers or whatever? And Yo's like, nah, it's cool, man. Yeah, you didn't see Ghost. You're a good guy. You're alright.
Yeah, which is apparently his philosophy. If you can see ghosts, you can't be a bad person. Smash cut to episode 2 where the black-haired kid almost kills a guy.
Yeah. Like, of course, it's like, it probably goes without saying. I feel like that philosophy gets challenged a lot.
Oh, no, yeah, of course. Also, I'm wondering, so like I mentioned, Pompadour guy is gonna be a good guy eventually, but I'm kind of struggling to understand how, because he doesn't seem to be able to see ghosts, or if he can, he's completely unfazed by it.
Yeah. Like, right now, so, like, Pompadour Man just introduced. Because he just, like, shows up in a graveyard stomping on a grave, like, yeah, ghosts don't exist. He's, like,
Cuts it in
waving.
half.
He's just waving his wooden sword around. Everyone's like, oh, hey, don't do that. You're gonna get cursed. And he, like, breaks a tombstone in half. And he's like, if there are any ghosts out there, come at me, bro.
What's his name? Ryu?
Yeah. Ryu of the wooden sword.
Yeah. I guess that might be the answer, is like he doesn't need powers, he's just stupid strong.
Oh,
Because
boy.
again, cuts a stone grave marker in half with a wooden sword.
Yeah. But yeah, Pompadour Man's just, like, causing trouble for the ghosts. And Monted, like, ends up crossing him, and he just beats the crap out of him.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
he's just trying to take a shortcut through the graveyard, and they catch him and beat the snot out of him.
yeah. And Yo just, like, shows up, and he's like, oh, hey, Monta, this guy beat you up? Alright, let's deal with that then.
He drags him out of the school. It's like, let's go beat this guy up.
Yeah, and Monta's like, what? No, you're gonna get killed. That guy's, like, in his 30s.
Yeah. Yo's like, yeah, I'm not actually all that strong, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And it turns out he doesn't have to be strong, because like I said, going in totally blind, I had no idea how the characters fight or like whatever.
Yeah.
In episode 2, it's kind of like stand battles almost. But
Yeah, it's very close.
It's like stand battles, but like your stand possesses you.
Yeah, because here's the thing, it's like, you can see ghosts, but, like, even if you befriend a ghost, they can't actually hurt anyone, because it's a ghost. They just phase through things.
Yeah, and the gravestone that he smashed is like the gravestone of some samurai that used to live in the area.
Yeah.
There's like a legend about him and whatnot.
Amadimaru, I think. Amadimaru? Yeah, I think it's like Amadimaru.
Something like that. And Yo doesn't want to just beat this guy up because he attacked Manta. He also wronged the samurai ghost by breaking his tombstone.
Yeah.
And so the way he fights is he takes the soul and he fuses it into himself, and then basically it possesses him, and the ghost can fight as him.
Yeah. Which presumably gives him the ghost's, like, strengths and abilities, like, as they are in life. Like, yo. Like, apparently it's not just the technique, it physically makes you stronger.
Could be. I'd believe it. But I didn't see anything that really indicates that. Oh wait, no. You know what? Black-haired kid cuts a car in half with a glaive.
Yeah, he just cuts a car in half. It's
Yeah,
like, jeez.
Yeah, this kid who's probably shorter than like probably smaller than Yo is. So yeah, never mind. It definitely gives super strength, but we don't
Yeah.
really see that in the first episode. It's just he's a samurai fighting some punk kid with a. Well, no, this guy's like a high schooler at least.
Yeah.
Just some punk with a wooden sword, and it's like, oh yeah, of course he loses to the trained samurai who has a legend, like who's legendary.
Yeah. Like, y'all have really cool shots where it's like, yo, the samurai's like possessing Yo, and you see, like, yo, he's like behind him, right? Like, yo,
Yeah,
stylistically, because they're like doing the same poses, and yo, when they talk, they're like doing the same, like, yo, mannerisms and stuff.
yeah. By the way, I think what Yo is using as a weapon there is also a grave marker.
Yeah, it was like some weird one, like, yo, like post that was next to the gravestone. Ace just picks up, like, okay, guess I need something as a sword. Let's do this.
Yeah, maybe it's not a grave marker. Maybe it's just a sign that says something. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like, all right, yeah, I need something resembling a katana. This'll do.
Man just goes for it, and it's like he cuts off Punk Guy's afro. It's like
Pompadour.
pompadour. Yeah, just like cuts it in half. And he's like, oh yeah, I won't kill you because I don't want you to become one of us. It's like, dang.
And then Yo befriends the ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So, I thought I remember earlier I said something like, oh, this episode has really crazy fast pacing.
Didn't seem that crazy.
Like, it's, rewatch, it's not as bad as I initially thought, but it's still pretty, like, blazing.
Yeah. There's like there are things we missed. Like there's a part where he goes to like a museum where there's an old sword, and the ghost samurai's old friend who was a weaponsmith, who forged his swords, possessed it. And
Yeah.
so he gets this whole story about how he and his friend got employed by a lord, and then he told the samurai to kill the weaponsmith because he didn't want more than one of the amazing sword he made to exist.
Yeah, I think they call it How Maru or something.
Yeah,
Something
something
like
like that.
that, yeah. I know it started with an H, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, so instead of it's implied that the Lord sent like mercenaries to kill the weaponsmith, and then samurai guy. I really got to remember his name. He seems like he's going to be a recurring character.
Amidamaru, yeah.
Amidamaru. Okay. Amidamaru fought off the mercenaries and I guess died in the process. Or no, they said
Yeah.
he was executed, right?
Yeah, because, like, Amidamaru was, like, supposed to be the one to kill his friend. And
Yeah.
his friend's like, oh, I'll just run away. And Amidamaru's like, okay, yeah, I'll just let you escape. And they killed Amidamaru and the friend for, like, insubordination, basically.
Yeah. The weaponsmith said something like to spite the Lord who ordered it, he was going to make another really super good sword, even better than the one he made earlier.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that sword's Hamaru or whatever. I think that's the one.
I think that's his name.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
because I think that's like a sword made by Muramasa is a Muramasa.
Oh, yeah, that is a thing, isn't it?
I think so. I'm like, for anyone who actually
Yeah.
knows, sorry
Yeah,
if
no, you're
I'm
probably
wrong.
totally right, actually.
Yeah. I think he names the sword after himself because that's what katana smiths did.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that sounds
Also,
right.
your stream keeps buffering.
Oh, is it? Ah, that's not great.
It might be on my end, but I don't know.
It shouldn't be buffering, but if it is, I'm super sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd bring
Yeah.
it. Are you dropping frames or anything?
No, I'm not seeing anything.
It could just be because I'm running FF14. It might be.
Yeah?
Apparently, there's some kind of bug with the game right now where they've disabled world visit. So if you're in someone else's world, you're stuck there.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe they're trying to fix that, and I'm sitting in a cutscene, not doing anything. I don't know.
Oh,
I
that's
hope
weird.
it's on my end.
Yeah, I'm seeing 0 drop frames, so it's probably, like, on your end.
Okay.
Alright, but yeah, thanks for letting me know, man.
So yeah, they reunite. Ow. Yo reunites the. Well, he doesn't reunite the two. He gives Amidamaru the sword, or the
Yeah.
ghost of the sword.
Yeah, cause this is something they bring up where it's like, yeah, it's not just a Miyamaru. Yo can be possessed by like any ghost. So
Yeah.
he lets the swordsmith possess him, and they go off to like finish like fixing the sword and stuff, and he gives that to him.
Yeah, and Amidamaru like grabs the physical sword and pulls like its spirit out of it, which
That's
sure.
It's such a cool
Like,
shot. I actually like it a lot.
it is really cool. It's like, how do you give a ghost a sword? Well, you give it in
Yeah.
Japanese mythology, stuff can have souls or like yeah, like
Yeah.
items can have souls. So it's not too crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it really doesn't matter, but I like that they have it in there because it's like, you know, he's a ghost. Like having another weapon like physically means nothing for him, but it's still just a nice touch.
I do wonder what they do with the sword though.
Yeah, I think they just give it back to the museum because that was like one of the scenes they cut from the manga. Yeah, because
Okay.
you see the sword back in the museum and they just, you know, like have a weird note where like some curator or whatever is just like, oh yeah, the sword miraculously repaired itself.
Okay. Uh
But
yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
that's
I was gonna say Yo should have kept it so he just has a sword to use when he gets possessed, but
yeah, that would have been smart.
I think the intro shows him having some kind of weapon on him, although I don't know if it's just going to be a running thing that he just picks up whatever's nearby.
I think he does get like a proper sword eventually, but I forget where or how. I think he just like buys one.
Yeah. So what I don't know yet is if Amidamaru is Yo's only ghost friend, or if he's going to like maybe get possessed by ghosts per episode to do stuff.
um
I don't actually.
So it's probably worth mentioning at this point that it's like episode 1 is, you know, the whole thing like up to like, you know, him asking Amidamaru to become his partner basically, and
Yeah.
Amidamaru says no. Sorry, not episode 1, chapter 1 of the manga. But yeah, that's all like chapter 1, and chapter 2 is this whole thing about learning the backstory and getting the sword fixed.
Hmm.
And like that's basically where like the first episode of the anime ends. Between that, there's like 2 or 3 other chapters that just got straight cuts.
Oh.
One of which is like, so it's like this is one of the things they cut. That's like there's a chapter where we see that like Yo's basically got a bunch of ghosts of dead kids from the school with him, and he's using them to like cheat on tests.
Okay, it's like it's in the manga, but if it was in the anime, it'd be like, oh, this is filler.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there's like a random like delinquent kid who's like got trained by a famous boxer that died, and Yo's like, oh, I need to like, yo, take in the ghost of this boxer so I can fight him in a fist fight. And yo, Les old master basically punch him out for being an idiot. So Yo gets possessed by the ghost of a boxer with an afro and just like fights a dude with his bare hands.
Yeah. So that I figure there's going to be episodes where he just gets possessed by ghosts to do stuff. That because
Yeah.
what power like that if he uses it only for the one that's his friend. But
Yeah.
like, excuse me. What I don't know if he's going to have like a bunch of ghost friends following him around and he just switches fighting styles and uses them for different stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, as far as I'm aware, Amidamaru's like his main guy, right? Because he's just this really powerful samurai, so it's like, not many ghosts are gonna be like on that level, really.
Yeah. Apparently, Amidamaru's stronger than the black haired kid's ghost, who's like a Chinese war general or something.
Yeah, they make a big deal about how powerful Amidamaru is and how like much Yo kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's like, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the second episode is all about this kid who's like, I'm gonna steal Amidamaru, make him mine, and I use my ghosts like tools, and I suppress them to like dominate them to use their powers or whatever.
Whoa, slow down there, Rika.
And it's like you're stupid because you're trying to be friends with your ghosts and whatever. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, is he gonna do a thing where it's just like this guy dominates the ghost? And it's like, well, oh, is Yo gonna do a thing where it's like I just let the ghost take complete control? And the answer is no. It's more like it's like he's perfectly in sync with the ghost possessing him.
Yeah, which is kind of bullcrap, but it's episode 2, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's like I can kind of understand where they're coming from. It's like, oh, I want to beat you, Amidamaru wants to beat you, so we're in sync.
Yeah, done.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, it is kind of crazy that the kid, what's the black-haired kid's name?
Ren,
that's it.
Yeah.
Ren is like, I can integrate with my ghost 100%. You can't do that. And then Yo gets knocked on his butt and like stabbed in the shoulder. And then Ren goes on for a while about how weak Yo is. And then Yo gets up and he's like, oh, I can do it now because I watched you do it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, now that I know it's a thing, I guess I just do it.
This is the most, like, Yo is the most power of friendship protagonist. Like, I'm not going to say like he's the most like that, because there's probably other characters that are like that are way more. But,
oh, absolutely. This is literally power of friendship, though.
Yeah, Yo is I am power of friendship, man.
Yeah.
And through friendship, he can perfectly sync with his ghosts instead of having to dominate them to use their powers.
Yeah. Also, I do want to quickly point out how cool the Chinese warlord ghost is.
He's straight up just a JoJo stand.
Yeah, straight up. He's just got all the bulky armor and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is just a stand. This is like a stand with a human face, basically.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking that. It's like I know JoJo came out before a lot of stuff, and it inspired a lot of things. These are stands.
Yeah.
Amidamaru looks like a normal samurai dude, and it's like, okay, he doesn't look like a stand, but this guy's a stand.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like that's only going to get like more of a thing later on.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of counter my thoughts on this Ren character, because he's like, oh, ghosts are tools and I'll use them how I want. And it's like, they were people at one point.
This used to be a human being.
Yeah, it's different than like, oh, this is a nebulous spirit that it's just residual ghost energy or some crap. It's like, no, this is the ghost of a Chinese warlord who used to be alive and was a real person, and he's just like, nah, it's like a carpenter's saw. Like, the carpenter's not friends with his saw, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, I know that's a thing at some point, that they eventually do have a thing where it's like, characters have to be like, oh my god, this thing I'm fighting with used to be a person. And
Yeah.
that's like a whole thing in the manga or whatever.
Yeah,
But
because it's
yeah.
like upon the thinking that he's gonna lose, Yo is like, instead of being like, oh, I'll just I don't know, it's like I'd rather my ghost friend go to the afterlife than be like stolen by you.
Yeah. Which apparently he can just do. He can just mind control ghosts.
Yeah, apparently that's how he yeah, like I said, he dominates the ghost to gain its powers. So I guess he would be able to just mind control it or something
Yeah.
through sheer force of will. But our protagonist here is like, no, that's dumb. You can't do that. That's dumb.
Yeah, come on, man. Get it together.
And so their friendship puts them in sync, and there's a good shot for what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Like the swordsman is known for Mitamaru is known for like a dual sword fighting stance, and so like a pipe got cut in half, and Yo grabs the two ends, and he's like, yeah, they're doing the legendary fighting stance. They just beat Ren in one.
Right, I do want to quickly point out that it's like, this is another thing they cut from the manga, because there's a bit where they kind of explain that, like, so you notice that, like, Ren just has this weird little, like, like, golden tablet thing, like, strapped to his chest?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like a memorial tablet.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you mentioned
there's...
that when we were talking about reviewing the show, and like the characters are like use different like religious objects and such to control their ghosts.
Yeah. Because there's like a quick chapter where it's like, that Yo goes to like stop a fire or whatever, and it's basically just filler. But it says a quick moment where he just busts out a memorial tablet, he just like keeps it in his pocket, and he's like, oh yeah, this is just where like ghosts live when they're not just out floating around.
Makes sense that they would need like a vessel to stay
Yeah.
in.
It's basically a Pokeball. Except for
Yeah.
ghosts.
Also, where did Ren get the halberd from?
I assume he just had it.
Oh, I just realized every time you see him walking around, he's carrying a suitcase.
Yeah, like he had it like folded up in the suitcase, and he just
Yeah.
takes out and like unfolds it.
Yeah, I don't know why that just completely slipped past my mind. There's a scene where it unfolds out of a box, and I'm like, where did that come from? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm carrying it the whole episode.
Because, like, you can't just be walking around with, like, a full-on halberd in, like, Japan.
Yeah.
It's like a child.
Yeah. Also, Ren's a little dirtbag.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a little prick.
Yeah, like, obviously, from how we've been talking about him. But, like, the conflict starts... there's, like, a conflict between him and these guys, because I guess he was walking, and the car was quote-unquote in his way. It just parked on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And, like, he kicked the headlight and broke it.
Yeah, he has
so,
this...
like, he's in trouble for something he started.
Yeah. Like, it's like this weird thing where he just starts off and he's like, oh yeah, you can't call these real stars in the sky, cause, your city's been, like, polluting the earth, and, then he goes off and he's like, oh, like, tame your filthy pollution machine, plebeians.
Yeah, I forgot about Ren's weird, like, obsession with preserving nature, and like don't pollute the atmosphere because I want to see the stars or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it, but like, chill, dude.
Yeah, he's like, oh, your car was in my way, so I just damaged it. Come at me. He's like, get wrecked, you cockroaches. You should die for preying on the earth.
Yeah, I guess I forgot the entire reason he kicked the car. It wasn't because it was in his way. He just wanted to kick it because it's a
Yeah,
card.
he's just a little psychopath.
Yeah. I can't believe this guy apparently joins the good guys. Actually,
Man, there's
I mean,
so many
you know what?
characters like that.
Vegeta's a planet destroying lunatic, and then he joins the good guys.
Oh man, did like Piccolo's goons just murder Krillin? And it's like one
Oh
of the
yeah,
first big deaths in Dragon Ball.
yeah. It's complicated because Demon King Piccolo and the Piccolo that was created from him aren't really the same guy.
Yeah,
They have the same name, but they're not the same guy because
because this
I don't
is
know.
like,
The way Demon King Piccolo acted, I can't imagine he would just change to good guy.
yeah, yeah. It's like technically a different person. It's like a whole thing. There's definitely like a scale of like redeemableness. It's like on one hand, it's like I feel like Ren's not that bad, honestly, because it's like, oh, he's like a murder happy like sociopath or whatever, but it's like he at least has like ideals behind it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know, man. He almost killed that guy.
Yeah, he's totally a scumbag, but it's like, all right, yo, like maybe you'd like reach out to him and did it, right? And on the other end, you have like Fairy Tail, which just has like a character that just like sexually assaults and like crucifies the heroes, and they just do a face turn, and it's like, no, no, I don't think this is no.
I want to like stuff about Fairy Tail, but then I hear stuff like that, and it's like I just get frustrated.
Yeah, Fairy Tail is a lot of stuff like that.
Like I've seen a few like fight scenes, and like the music is good, and it's like there's cool stuff about it, and it's like, oh yeah, this horrible irredeemable person joins the good guys. It's like, what?
Man, there's like
Even even Dragon Ball Super was like, oh yeah, Frieza's fighting for us, but it's like he's not a friend.
yeah.
Like Frieza's here doing this for his own benefit and not because he's decided to join the good guys.
But yeah, like also
And then he
Rin seems like a cool character.
and then he's the inciting incident in the Broly movie.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I do want to mention that it's like I do like that, like, because like obviously are doing the whole like thing where it's like, oh, the Shonen protagonist is like inexperienced, but is like, this great like power within them, this like, super potential. Oh, they've got like this ultimate demon or whatever. Like they're doing that whole thing, but
Yeah.
kind of feels like way more earned because it's like, oh, this is just like a guy Yo made friends with. Like
Yeah.
anyone could have done this.
Well, there's an implication that Yo has some kind of demon, like half of a demon sealed inside of him, but we don't start the series, like we don't start episode 1 and he whips it out and it's like, oh wow, he's so strong. It's like, no,
Yeah.
he didn't actually have a ghost friend until he made one.
Yeah, like as of right now, it's like Amidamaru, yeah. Amidamaru seems to be like the only like real like ghost that Yo has they can use. Like sure he can like use others, but this is like, like he's just going purely by this one thing, right?
Yeah. He went out and made a friend, and now that's his ghost friend that he uses to fight with.
Like it's not like, Yo gets knocked down and he's like, oh, I have this super secret special ultra power or whatever. It's like, nah, he just got good with the Amidamaru.
That's what I thought was going to happen. He got knocked down and he's unconscious, and Ren's walking up with the halberd, and he's like, "I'll finally I'll kill him and take his ghost." And I was like, all right, he's going to get up and explode with energy with a secret power and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, time for question mark %.
Yeah, which I love, by the way. I love Mob getting knocked unconscious, and the bad guy's like, yeah, I did it, and you're just like, ooh, you did something, all right.
Yeah, Man, Mob Psycho 100 leads into it so hard, because it's like, yo, the fight ends and it's like, oh yeah, yo, it just sort of came to a conclusion, yo, none of them are really satisfied, so the villain just feels this emptiness, it's like, or they would have, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. And I've talked about it before, like rage powers, and it's like, oh man, this is bad. I can't do
Yeah.
this. Like, oh, it's such a bad thing. And I'm sitting here looking at the screen going, yeah.
Man, I can't imagine Yo being the type of person to ever gain, like, rage powers.
Oh yeah, no. Like, there's a scene where Manta's trying to tell Yo about Rin, and he's just at school and he's just like trying to take a nap on his desk, and Manta's like, there's another exorcist. He said he's gonna steal Amidamaru from you, and he's like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, Yo doesn't even acknowledge it. He's just trying to sleep. He's like, I don't care, man. He can see
Yeah.
ghosts. He can't be a bad person.
Yeah, he's like, I will be friends with him. He's like, if he sees a ghost, he must be a good guy.
Yeah. I'll be honest, it's fine that he's like a happy-go-lucky protagonist who wants to make friends with everybody. I have a limit.
Yeah.
It's like, please, if there's like a super, super bad guy, like, and he's like, I'm going to kill everyone you love, and like, I've killed a whole bunch of people already. It's like, please don't try to befriend this guy.
Yeah. Because, like, I feel like that's the thing, because it's like, Yo's just so chill and just, fun to, like, he has a weird, like, charisma to him, I guess. Because he's just like, he's just so chill and just so easygoing. It's like, yeah, you do you, yo.
Yeah,
But
he's
it's
a
like,
nice kid.
yeah, but like crap gets real, he still can get angry, and he's like, will stand up for himself. So it's like, it makes it way more impactful that he's not that super hothead feisty character, because it's like, he's like, oh, you're treating dead people as objects? Oh, I'll beat that out of you. And he gets legitimately angry.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, that's bullcrap.
Yeah. Oh, man.
As long as Yo can show emotion besides happy and I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
That's kind of the problem I have with Sora in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Like, I think Roxas is way more of a compelling character than Sora.
Yeah, because, like, Roxas is more of a fleshed out person.
Yeah, ironically.
Yeah, ironically.
Sora's like, oh, the bad guys are here, but I'm sure we can beat them and blah, 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 and whatever. And, like, Roxas is getting screwed with by Diz in the beginning of 2. And he's like attacking a thing that he's been told is a hologram and won't do him any good. And he's just like, I hate you so much. It's like Roxas, yes.
Like that moment where Roxas is just like smashing the keyboard with his sword, and he's just taking it out. It's like, yeah, that's so relatable.
Yeah, Roxas realizes what, like, gets a flashback thing, like a weird flashback of what's going on with the computer and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I'm killing this thing," and he smashes it to pieces.
Oh man. But yeah, and then we get the big cliffhanger of the episode, I guess, because I don't know what else to really call this. The big reveal.
Oh, right. Yeah, the girl.
Yeah, because Anne just sort of shows up because Yo's in the hospital, and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were unconscious, so that's why I came to see you, you lazy idiot," or whatever.
Yeah. And then Manta's like, watch out, she's a ghost or something. Oh, wait, no, Manta, no, that's not Manta. Manta's like, hey, who are you? Whatever, I'll stop you from getting to Yo. And Yo's like, no, look out. And she slaps the crap out of Manta.
Yeah, and don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's just straight up like, oh yeah, I'm Yo's fiance. We're gonna get married, kid.
I like her.
Yeah. On's great. So, fun fact, apparently originally this series was going to follow On instead of Yo.
I could see it. She looks like a protagonist.
Yeah. And
She
like
looks
the main Gaku was getting things right, and then another series came out that also followed like a girl who could absorb spirits. And he's like, oh, that's a bit too similar. I guess I'll just change it then.
Yeah, she seems like we only get the one interaction between her and Manta and Yo, not really even. But she seems like the polar opposite of Yo.
Yeah, she seems like tsundere to the max, but also kind of cold.
Yeah,
I guess that's pretty tsundere, actually.
Yeah, she doesn't. She seems to have no chill.
Yeah.
Like I said, she slaps the crap out of Manta.
Just like, I will beat you into shape. Oh man, so that's gonna be fun.
I think it's the opening credits. We see there's like a glimpse of her power, and it looks like she fights with the prayer beads around her neck.
Yeah. I think, like, because I was, like, looking into this and I was hearing stuff and whatever, and trying to figure out, like, which spin-off was what out of curiosity. And I, like, got spoiled that, like, she fights with 1,080 beads.
Okay.
Because it's 108, but bigger.
It's one a weight booth, another 0.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever
like,
works.
Yeah, because 108's like a big number in like Buddhism and stuff.
Yeah. We also kind of glossed over the whole like Yo's origin or whatever, where he's training as like a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
His grandfather's trying to teach him to harness spirits and like nature spirits and stuff. And Yo's like, no man, I don't want to be a shaman. I just want to like be lazy and do nothing, like whatever.
Yeah. This is also probably like also from way later on in the manga.
Yeah, they don't show that until later.
Yeah. And like, so I read the manga, so I know it's like done happened till way later on, probably. Also, Yo's wearing like his outfit from like the end of the series.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, it's like a kid.
Oh, sick. It's a pretty good design.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple, but that's good.
Yeah, I feel like that like describes a lot of the characters in this series. Like, they have really simple designs, but it's effective. And they bring out their spirits, and they have the really crazy complex designs.
Yeah, he's got the headphones, which is like, yeah, this is a 90s series.
Oh yeah. It was like right in there.
Yeah. But it's fine. And there's also a scene where Manta's sitting on a bench and he's like, I can't stand that guy. He sits around and looks at the stars and like looks off into the distance and just does nothing but listen to his favorite music. And then he pauses for a second and he's like, man, I'm jealous of him.
Yeah. I like that he just straight up calls Yo out as a slacker, and he's like, man, look at this deadbeat, and he's like, I won't be like him.
Yeah. I kind of like that because I'm like, what are you complaining about? His life sounds great, and then he reveals it. It's like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So did you catch the big like info drop that just happens in the like training flashback?
That God is the king of spirits.
Yeah, they straight up explain what the Shaman King is.
Yeah, the Shaman King is someone who can channel God.
Yeah, straight up, you just become God. And it's like, alright.
Yeah, Yo didn't want to become a shaman until he heard this, and then he's like, oh, I want to do that. And he's like, whoa, why'd you change your mind all of a sudden? Well, if I have God as my spirit, I could do nothing.
Yeah. If God's my partner, Digimon, I could do so much. Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Like,
all right. It's like our character is like carefree to an absurd degree, and I kind of love it.
oh man.
It's neat. I when it was revealed how like the main character fought, how Yo fights with like getting possessed by spirits, and then like like he gains their powers or whatever. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a cool
Yeah.
power.
It's a fun gimmick. And like, of course of course we're gonna get more as we go on, because like, there's gonna be other like fighting styles and like, this and that, all kinds of nutty nonsense.
Yeah, stuff with ghosts is fun.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. Like, if I couldn't have telekinesis, then ghost powers is what I would want.
Yeah, like ghost powers would be cool, because it'd be like you'd have those weird like other like spirits or whatever that you don't really want to screw with, but it's like yeah, I could talk with a dead guy for a bit. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, it could also be horrifying depending on how the ghosts are in your current reality.
Yeah.
It could be like this world where the ghosts are just like there's like cartoon ghosts and they hang out
Yeah.
and ghost tales and they talk to people.
Gonna hang out with the ghost of a crashed pilot, presumably.
Yeah, although this is like the first 2 episodes, so there's time for them to meet a ghost and it's a horrible monster.
Yeah. So that is one of the chapters they skipped in the manga.
That there's early on there's a scary ghost.
Yeah, there's like an evil spirit, and it keeps like knocking a sign over and trying to kill people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's something they probably should have established. Although, like I said, we're 2 episodes in. Maybe they'll do it next episode.
Yeah, I feel like evil spirits doesn't become like a huge thing in the series, honestly. But yeah, they have a little thing where they like establish that, and Amidamaru's like getting ready to fight it. And they kind of explain it's like, oh yeah, ghosts can totally just fight each other.
Of course they can. Why wouldn't they be able to?
But because they're ghosts, like, they don't die unless they just give up on, like, this world or whatever. So it's just like a contest of willpower, basically. It's like, oh, how determined are you to, like, keep getting hurt and, like, keep fighting this guy forever, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're also ghosts, so there's not much of, like, a good victory end game for it anyways.
Yeah, it's...
Because, like, what could you really get when you're dead?
Yeah, well, it depends on the rules of the universe. In Bleach, everybody's in the Soul Society's dead, but they can kill each other and ghosts and the hollows and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, the Shaman King manga, like, pretty clearly establishes that it's like, yeah, no, ghosts are just immortal unless they choose to die, basically.
Yeah. Also, apparently there's a big resurgence in Bleach stuff happening.
Oh, yeah, which is, I feel like it doesn't make as much sense, but, it's fair enough, because, like, the manga ended and they're, like, trying to get the final season out or something, get through the final arc, which is, boy, that's gonna be something. Boy, is there a lot of insane bullshit in that arc.
Oh, yeah. I got so caught up in, like, all the crazy stuff that happened in Bleach later with, like, Zanpakutos and Bankais and like not hollows, but like Vizards and Arankars and Espadas and all that bullcrap. I forgot that the series started with, oh, there's a ghost that's going to turn into a hollow and we have to save it.
Yeah.
I forgot how small scale the beginning of that series is.
Yeah, like, Bleach literally ends with, like, oh, if we don't kill God, it's going to destroy all of reality.
Yeah, because that's one reason I've noticed the big resurgence, seemingly, or maybe YouTube, which is like, hey, you probably watched Bleach as a kid, check this out, and like it keeps recommending me Bleach clips, and I'm like, all right, cool.
So actually, now that I think about it, I feel like I'd probably pretty succinctly like logic this out. Because, like, Kubo Career of Bleach made, like, another, like, series as, like, a one-off called Burn the Witch. And you probably heard a little bit about this.
I don't know anything about it, but I know it exists, and at the end of it, it's revealed that it's secretly Bleach the whole time.
Yeah, it's basically just witches who fight dragons with guns, and at the end it's like, oh yeah, dragons are just another form of hollow or whatever, and they like show the Lars burn the witch, and they have like, darkened them out so it says Bleach.
Yeah.
But yeah, that count, and they got like an OVA anime adaptation that did pretty well. So then studios are like, oh yeah, maybe people like Kubo's stuff after all. We should like actually finish off Bleach after all these years. So that's probably why it's like a resurgence.
Bleach is a really cool concept. It's just
yeah.
I feel like it was around that time that Naruto was airing, where everything ran forever and tried to catch up with the manga, which wasn't finished. So there's just been crap loads of filler.
Yeah.
And it's like we've hit a point where anime's popular enough that, and everybody's like, okay, like a 26 episode season is good, or like a 12 episode season or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, let's take this one season at a time instead of running the show infinitely.
Yeah, it's like better for the fans, and it's like a way more reasonable workload.
Yeah. It also makes more sense considering TV isn't really popular anymore.
Yeah. Man, you remember Naruto filler?
No. Not really.
You remember the episode where they brought Mitsuki back, the like effing shuriken guy from episode 2? And he gets a curse mark. Yeah, he becomes a weird tiger man.
I never saw it. You told me about it though.
Right, I probably did.
Yeah, we've talked about stupid Naruto filler bullcrap before.
The bit where they have a piece of cloth that used to like belong to Sasuke or whatever, and they spend an entire episode tracking down a super rare elephant beetle that can scent track people based on like clothing or whatever. So it's like this entire episode where Naruto's like, yeah, if we can get this, then we can find where Sasuke is and save him, immediately. We can just go there and do it. And they finally get the beetle, and Naruto accidentally farts on it, and it, tracks Naruto now. And they're like, well, crap, this just ruined all our plans.
Fantastic.
I guess we'll just have to wait through a full year-long time skip.
I guess Kiba and Akamaru are no good for tracking.
Yeah. I think it was specifically oh, the scent's too faint or whatever, so we need this super beetle.
Oh.
And then Naruto just farts in its face.
Yeah, that's the dumb bullcrap Naruto does.
Yeah.
I've got a whole playthrough of Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 where I rant about how stupid Naruto is the whole time.
Oh, did you upload those?
Oh yeah. That was
awesome.
That was one of the first full series I uploaded on my channel, I think. It's like, oh yeah, Naruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is coming out on PC, or it came out on PC, and I got it for cheap, and I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's stream the story mode.
Yeah, screw it, why not?
Is it the first full series?
I'm glad I get the impression that Yo is never going to accidentally fart his way through a battle.
Oh, I hope not. Okay, technically, Okami's not a full playthrough, but it's the first series I started to upload.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
And then I played through Ninja Storm 4.
Man, I think Danganronpa didn't until way later. Yeah, Digimon World 3 is my first full playthrough. Man, that was a while ago. That was nuts. That footage probably did not age super well just because of how bad and low quality it is. It was just starting out, so I didn't know how to do commentary or jokes or whatever, so it sucks.
Oh, my mic for the majority of my early uploads is absolute trash. Kind of why I'm for Ni no Kuni 2, I think, and maybe parts of Final Fantasy 12. I just kind of want to redo Okami because so Okami was around the time I had a bad mic, and like some episodes I had people in like a Discord call just chatting and talking over each other while I said nothing, and
Yeah.
it's not really the treatment I want to give to like my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of restarting that one and redoing that
Yeah,
series.
like,
I
well, if
never
you want
finished
me
in the.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, it's a series that I started and never finished in the first place, but yeah,
Yeah. Well, if
I
you ever
wouldn't
wanted
mind.
to, like, do a, like, Okami stream, then I'd be fine, like, joining you for that if you'd want.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having you on to chat while I played or whatever. It's just I had multiple people in a Discord call. They're talking about completely unrelated stuff. While I say absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, I guess, isn't that, like, that's not too far off from what we're doing right now, is it?
this is like no, because we're off topic, but it's still like a podcast thing.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, we're done talking about Shaman King. Nothing else happens.
Yeah.
Those are the two episodes.
Man, is there anything else I want to mention? Like, cause, nah, I think we pretty much covered it all, didn't we? Cause,
Pretty much
like,
it.
yeah. Oh,
My
yeah, I should
summary.
mention, like, apparently 4Kids' dub is stupidly inconsistent because, of course.
Oh, I'm sure. Um,
Right, we had talked about, like, I guess it doesn't matter, but we had talked about Manta just randomly pulling out a dictionary from his pocket to learn what attack names are.
I'm completely uninvested in Manta as a character.
Yeah, that's fair.
I get it. He's supposed to be the normal kid who can see the action but doesn't have a power. It's like self-insert
Yeah.
or something.
Like,
I
he's
don't.
basically our Dizzy.
Who?
Yeah, Dizzy from, like, Beyblade. Wasn't
Oh,
that Dizzy?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
know if
kid with
that's
the
his.
computer, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's the kid with the
Yeah.
glasses and the laptop.
Completely unlike Dizzy from Guilty Gear.
Completely.
Completely.
Yeah, until Manta does something important or like shows himself as more of a character than a self-insert, I don't care about him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just whatever, really. He's like Dumb Cock Relief, whatever, did it. Oh, cool, Anne's here now.
He's Krillin, but no powers instead of weak
Yes.
powers.
He's Krillin, except his only useful ability is that he can see Ghost.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like seeing ghosts and using their powers is like 1 degree apart from each other. Because it's like,
Yeah.
what's stopping him from being like, hey, ghost friend, like possess me and we can fight or whatever?
Yeah, it might not be that simple, really. Like,
Maybe
maybe a
not.
strong ghost could do it, but, it probably takes, like, a specific kind of, like, spirit, I'd imagine.
I
Like,
feel
maybe
like
you'd
if
have to be, like, super determined or something.
I feel like if Manta's already at the point where he can see the ghosts, he can be taught to use their powers.
Oh, yeah, he
Like,
could probably be taught to be a shaman pretty easily.
yeah, and I don't. Be honest with me. Does it happen? Does he ever get like a power of any kind?
In the 4Kids dub, yes, but I think that was non-canon.
Uh,
In the manga, though, I think there is a moment where he just shows up with a ghost train. It's not like his shaman powers or something, it just kind of happens.
Okay, so he's just kind of self-insert for the whole series if it's staying canon.
Yeah, he's just sort of that good friend character to kind of be like, oh, yo, this guy's dangerous, watch out, and be like, yo. I guess more of like the voice of reason more than anything else for now.
Sure, why not? It's like he's got a lot to live up to for this example specifically, but it's like Moomin Rider from One Punch Man. He doesn't have superpowers, but it's like, oh man, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Moomin Rider's the best.
I'm not. I won't be surprised if we get a Moomin Rider moment out of him at some point. Because he totally seems like that type of character, right? Who'd be like, yo, oh, you're gonna beat me up, but I need to, like, do the thing to help my friend or whatever. And he'd be like, you know, he'll take one for the team, right?
Yeah.
Like, he gives me that impression.
Yeah, as of right now, he seems to be like a guy who just got pulled into the crazy world of all the shaman stuff. I can see him developing into a character who has more agency.
Yeah. So I guess, like, any real predictions or whatever?
I don't know. Just give Monta a gun.
Give Monta a gun.
Give Monta a gun. He doesn't have powers, so just give him a gun.
Alright, here's probably a way better track of discussion. Like, what ghost types do you think we're going to see?
I mean, obviously, like, evil spirits and demons, because we saw that in the beginning of the episode 1.
Yeah.
And in the intro.
Yeah, and we see a lot in the intro and the ending specifically. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. I feel pretty confident that, I'm becoming more confident that wooden sword guy, Ryu, I think.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty confident that his quote-unquote power is that he's really strong.
Right, I do want to quickly mention, there's one that I should pause, that's like, there is a random chapter in the manga with, like, the boxing ghost, where, like, we do see Rio again for, like, a second, because he just gets a new hideout, and, like, the boxing delinquent guy just shows up and beats his group up and forces them to leave. So he's there for a second, but they just cut it out.
So he's kind of a jobber, even outside of just Yo.
Yeah, he's basically, for now, he's just like a big dude with a sword.
Yeah, alright.
So that should be interesting. Man, it's crazy because, like, I actually do know where this is going. I think that might be one of the first manga chapters I've ever read, like, ever. So that should be interesting.
I'm fairly invested. It seems like a cool series.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts or whatever, I guess?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Give Monta a gun.
Monta a gun.
Later.
World around you's not what it seems. It's all revealed beyond your